How's it going, guys? Got some TCGO for you this morning. Now, the question probably on a lot of people's minds, and people haven't really wanted to discuss, I suppose, is, hey, when are you going to be making new decks? We've been watching the same six for a long fucking time. We want to see some more. And it's like, I'm waiting for the new set to come out so I can see what good cards work with, other things. So I'm just going to hang on to these for now because I know they work and they make for good games, as is this Lost World one today, which if you're telling by the video length, I actually, it was a good game, by Lost World standards. So playing a guy that's pretty good by my standards as well. I finally got to see how many wins I have the other day, which is like 305 or something like that. Not really necessarily expecting more, but I sure as fuck wasn't expecting less, I can tell you that much. So I'm fighting this water deck. Never really seen anything like it. He's got Frillishes and he's got Cryogonals. Not really sure how that's going to work out for him. I'm kind of expecting Feraligatr in here because I know Jellicent, right off the top of my head, actually has Hydro Pump and stuff, which is like 20 plus 10 more for every water energy attached to it. Not really a fantastic attack, but its body kind of makes up for it in that when you attack him, you get confused. So I'm not really going to want to attack. Not really going to want to keep Mr. Mime in that lead spot either. I'm actually just going to want to go ahead and eke out, get a new hand, see if I can pull into a Pecom or a Haunter or something like that. I get a Gengar, which would have been great if I got a rare candy. Alternatively, what I could have done is I could have just sent in a Pokemon just to die, and then once he killed it off, I could have used Twins in my hand, and then that would have been fantastic. But no dice. So anyway, there's the Jellicent. Decided to show it off for a little bit. It's got a big retreat cost, which means I should be able to take advantage of it if he doesn't get enough energy on it in time. But he's going to go ahead and use his Cryogonal's, I guess, attack thing to draw out my Ghastly just because he knows it's the only thing with a retreat cost, and I'm going to waste one getting out of there. I don't really have much of a choice because I just want to stay into Cleffa and then just eke out again for another hand. And I'm sorry about the video being choppy. Like, I noticed it was choppy recording, but it was a good game, and I really didn't want to throw it away just because of that. Like, you can still see what's going on the screen. It's just all jerky and shit, and it's, like, really super jerky in the middle. But, anyways, he goes for training method, gets Flaffy for some reason, so he's running, like, a water electric deck. And he finally kills off my Cleffa, which is good and bad. Good because I get to use Twins, bad because I no longer get to flush out my hand, but for the time being, I can bring in Mime Jr., and I do finally get a Haunter. So right now, what I decide to do is I think I decide to play Collector, just because, I want to get some more things on the bench prepared for Gengar. What I could have done is I could have used Twins to get a rare candy and a Gengar, but the way I see it, I can wait one more turn in order to fill out the bench. And then that way with Twins, I can get like a Slowking and a Gengar, and then these Mimes won't be completely useless. Plus, Haunter doesn't have enough energy on him as well. So for those of you at home questioning that last play, there's some insight for you as for what was going on in my mind. I kind of just remembered that in that moment. Go figure. Cryogonal, and then he's using Bill and stuff, which is like you're using interesting deck with bad draw power things, I guess. I haven't really seen anything that would indicate that he's got really good cards, but this is a fun deck to run. It's not like it's really holding a candle to anything out there, but anyways, I get 3 Junk Arms in this one, and I'm like, I really don't need this many Junk Arms, guys. You need to calm your shit. But looking for a Gengar, and I'm probably going to be looking for a catcher. Okay, I guess I guess I'm getting Lost World and Gengar. Okay, I guess I do what I want, because I guess I have 2 Lost Worlds in here. But I'm going to use Mr. Mime, look at his hand, see if there's anything cool in there. And turns out he has 3 Pokemon in there, but that Tiratuga, because it evolves from a cover fossil, does not actually count as a Pokemon, so I can't hurl it. It counts as an item, which was interesting, because when I was building my Archeops deck, it threw off the trainer card amount by so much. Oh, Jesus, it was ridiculous. But I figure I'm not going to play Lost World just yet. I'll play it on the last turn, so I can start hurling stuff, and then, because it has free retreat, I can just get out of there. But hurling the Flaffy and the Ampharos, and then I know all he can really do is 40, or he can draw something else out. The smarter thing to do probably would have been to draw out my Slowpoke, which I think he decides to do after a while. But he gets pretty lucky with the cover fossil, actually manages to bring a Tiratuga into play, does 40 damage as opposed to drawing out my Slowpoke, which I thought definitely would have been the better of the 2 plays. But I'm looking at retreat costs and things and whatnot. Tiratuga's got 3, so I'm definitely going to go ahead and bring that thing out. If he didn't bring it out, it would have brought out Frillish, which actually only has a retreat cost of 2. But I think I am looking at my discard pile. The only thing I can really junk arm for is a catcher, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and curse drop. See if I can drop anything, I guess. It's too bad that the thing with the lowest amount of HP on the field is both Cryogonal and Frillish. So it'll take me 4 turns to do this, and I don't really like doing this. But if his Tiratuga stays stuck in the lead spot, then I should be able to kill off 2 things with curse drop. And that'll actually draw me 2 prizes. This deck is not meant for drawing prizes, in case you guys haven't figured that out by now. But he's going to go for interviewers questions, and he only gets 1 electric energy. I know his hand is stuck right now, since I've gotten all the Pokemon out of it. So what I want to do is I want to come into a Spiritomb, but wouldn't you fucking know it, I have all 4 of my junk arms in my hand. Ugh. So I'm really stuck right now. But all I can do is just curse drop some more. You know, he's not really threatening me too much anyways. I mean, if I start taking damage from the Tiratuga, God forbid, I'll just junk arm for a catcher, and then I'll be good to go. I can junk arm out, junk arm out the catcher, and then bring in the Frillish, and then he's kind of stuck again. So that's the story of that. I don't really need any more Psychic Energy on Gengar unless I want to get really lucky with the Hurling, but he puts a Water Energy, just finally decides to do that. And then I decide I think I'm going to junk arm out the Rare Candy and the Psychic Energy to get a catcher so he can stop attacking me. I'm just like, hey, stop it, man. Stop it, Ron. You're traumatizing me. Okay. Catcher out into the Frillish. Just because he needs 2 Water Energy to do 20, and he needs 2 to get out of there. It's such a bad card, I guess. A bad start. Basic Pokemon, that's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, dropping that motherfucker like it's hot for 40, and he'll die in 1-2 more turns, and then I'll just put the remaining 3 damage counters on, like, I don't know. I'll decide when we get to it, but he decides to end me out. I'm like, thank you, mother of God, I did not want all those junk arms. And I actually end up drawing into an extra card as a result. But, I get a Slow King, I also get a PCOM, and I get a Seeker, and I'm like, I really like this hand all of a sudden. So, gonna play the Seeker, after I PCOM out for something, I guess. I think I decided to get Spiritomb, because I don't know if his hand is stuck right now, but I might as well shuffle it out anyway. You know, 6 cards is gonna be better than 4 in terms of better odds for getting things going on in the hand, but shuffle it out. See what we got going on next turn with Mime. If I had 2 Mimes, I would have been able to check before and after, but I've been doing just fine with 1. It's always been a little silent concern of mine, and it's working out right now. It's not like I'm in any immediate danger for the time being. But I'm going to go ahead and look at my deck, since I don't have any Mime Juniors out, and then it turns out I don't really have anything awesome. I just have a Gengar coming up and a Psychic Energy, so I just decide Psychic, then Gengar, then Slow King. And then we'll just be good to go from there. So use Mr. Mime to look at his hand currently, and he has a Druddigon and a Frillish. Now, the thing I forgot to do when I looked for Lost World with Twins earlier was I forgot to play it. So, once I get like 6 in the discard pile, or the Lost Zone pile, I have 6 things. I don't have 6 Pokemon, rather. I need 6 Pokemon. I need 1 more. So, what I can do from there is I can drop Tiratuga for like 2 more turns, and then I guess I forgot to show that all of a sudden. But he's not really able to do anything just because of how stuck these things are. I mean, he can do 20 damage now, but that's all he's... Like, I'm still doing really good. So, gonna use Slow King to look at my deck to see what that third card... Or his deck, rather. And he's got an N coming up, and he's got a Mareep, and he's got an Ampharos. But I decided I'm going to go ahead and retreat out into Mime Junior to burn off the Mareep to get my final one. And then what that's actually going to do is once I give him the N, it'll be pretty tempting for him to play it just in case he's stuck. Because truthfully, I'm kind of stuck too. And by playing N, he'll shuffle out his hand, so I don't need to do it with Spiritomb. So I also don't really need any energies on anything else. I haven't seen that he has a catcher going on in this deck or anything like that. And even still, I already have the 6 Pokemon in the Lost Zone. I'm just waiting for Lost World to pop up, and I think that actually is like the next... it's a pretty decent portion of the game. But he finally evolves his Tiratuga into Costa, and we got things. I have 3 Seekers going on, and that is actually pretty fucking cool, because I can actually... Well, first off, I guess I'm playing Pokemon Collector this turn. I don't really understand why. Probably just to get another backup Ghastly, and a Slowpoke, and a Spiritomb. I'm probably going to put down the Ghastly, PCOM out the Slowpoke for a Haunter, either now or next turn. And then I will just retreat out and then go to Gengar for some silly reason. And I decide I don't want to do it because I already used my supporter. I was going to Seeker something. and then just be good from there. But I'm actually going to use Second Sight on my own deck to see if I get anything cool. Turns out there's a rare candy coming up, and I already have a Gengar in my hand. So I can draw it into the rare candy next turn, evolve that Gengar, and then hopefully I'll be able to shuffle out things next turn. But if mine dies, whatever. If it stays awake, or no, if it stays asleep, whatever. Caracasta has a huge retreat cost on it. Look at that. Just 4/4. That's a lot. That is a lot. So, looking at it, since those are the only things on his bench, what I can actually do is I can play Seeker to spit him up into his hand. And there's evolutions on those. So, the best thing he can probably do is, well, first off, I'm going to play Spiritomb because I think he's stuck on cards right now, too. So, just draw him into more Pokemon, and since he's only got 4 cards in his hand, he'll be drawing 2 more, that much closer to decking himself out. You know how that goes. But, I'm going to play Seeker on my Mr. Mime, I guess, because it's not really that vital at this point. I'm just like, whatever. I'll put it down anyway. Although, what I could have kept doing is I could have just kept, like, you know, doing the Spiritomb and shit, and then I got an IM there briefly, which is... Someone's going to try to pause it and see who it's from. I don't even remember who it's from. I think it might be from Tay. But I get 3 Pokemon. So there's the Mareep, there's the Frillish, there's the Jellicent. Jellicent is gone. Better thing to do for him probably would have been to get the Tiratuga and the Caracasta because I can't hurl those, but hey, what do I know? So he's got this Frillish, which can only do 20 damage, and then he's got the Caracasta on the bench. His damage output really isn't high, and he's running a little low on cards, as you're noticing. But I got Slowpoke, I got a Pecom, I can Pecom out for something, and then I can also use Spiritomb. See, I'm flushing out his hand just fine. I can keep repeating the Spiritomb thing as much as I want, but unless I get Lost World, it's going to be really in vain unless what I end up doing is, you know, Seekering and then hurling everything into darkness. But it turns out I lose my Gengar thanks to his Caracasta coming into play. Not too concerned. I'm just stalling for time. I mean, I have 3 prize cards, so I have a little bit of time, but not a lot. So, gonna go ahead and Pecom out the Slowpoke. I don't remember what I get, to be honest. It's kind of just like, whatever. Okay, I guess I'm getting a Haunter for some reason. I don't know why I would get a Haunter when there's no Ghastly on the bench. Okay, I guess I'm getting a Ghastly. That's real fucking neato. Alright, Ghastly goes down. And then, I guess I'm looking at my discard pile. I don't remember what for. I guess something good to Junk Arm for. But I'm going to go ahead and use the Slowking just to do this shit. Look at my own deck, see if there's anything cool coming up. I see Revive, a Junk Arm, and a Slowpoke. So what I can do is I can Revive Cleffa after something dies, flush out my hand, and then I should be good to go in the upcoming turns. So it turns out I wake up, that's actually good because that leaves bench space for Cleffa. Gengar's got free treat, so I'll probably send him in immediately after. I got like 8 or 9 cards in the Lost Zone. The instant I draw one of these 2 Lost Worlds, you know, it's pretty much over. I'm just kind of waiting for him. And I mean, I have a pool of like 20 cards to pick from. So he better get his shit in gear. I mean, he can kill this thing off right now. If I send in my Gengar, it's a little bit bulkier, I suppose, and I never thought I would say Gengar is bulky, but it definitely does have more HP than everything else on this team. You know, Ghastly having 50, Mr. Mime having 70, Slowpoke having 80 or 90, Gengar has 130, and then Spiritomb has 60. So, starts to put energy on Jellicent, not threatened by it in the least. And then Caracasta's got the full lot out of energy, and he's just going to do solid 80 to me, no big. What do I send out? Send out Gengar, gonna go ahead and Revive, and then what I could do is I could Junk Arm the 2 Seekers, or for a catcher, which I think I decide to do. Just get the 2 Seekers going on, and then get the catcher to bring in the Druddigon, just because it doesn't have any energy on it. I also have a resistance to it, and it means it can't attack, so that's pretty fucking cool, I guess. As soon as he clicks, just kind of waiting for this, and then I'll just flush out a hand, keep flushing out hands until I draw the Lost World, and then that's how this works. That is the end of this story, a little preemptively, because he's not able to kill off those 2 Pokemon in time. I mean, he can kill off the Cleffa, and then I have X amount of time with Gengar until that comes into play, so it's kind of a mid-stakes thing going on. I mean, if I draw into, like, Junk Arms and stuff, which, believe me, guys, I had plenty of, I can keep Junk Arming for catchers and stuff, so it's not that big a deal. But gonna eke out for this new hand. Hopefully I get it. And it turns out I get Junk Arm, 2 Slowpokes, a Slowking, and 2 Psychic Energies, which is disappointing. But when I'm looking for 2 cards out of a pool of 20, I got a 10% chance. That's actually no. Wait. Kind of. I think that's how that math works. It might work a little bit differently in my head. But he's only got 4 cards too. So the odds are that I actually might end up decking him out before I end up drawing into Lost World. So that's a possibility, which has never happened to me before. That's not how this deck works, but that's not to say I'm complaining. So I'm going to put a Psychic Energy down on Gengar just for the hell of putting it on. And then I'm still asleep, so I'm actually a little concerned at this point, but I'm going to bring in the Kyurem since he's starting to put energy on Dredagon. And then I'm just going to end my turn there, since I know an Outrage won't kill me, and a Glaciate will actually... a Glaciate can kill off my Cleffa, and then if he goes for 2 Glaciates, then, you know, my time's ticking. He'll kill off the Ghastly and the Spiritomb at the same time, but wouldn't you know it, my Lost World comes up right in the nick of time, I suppose. And that is the end of that game. So, a little bit of a longer one with Lost Zone. If I had played down the Lost World card a little bit earlier, probably would have been shorter. But I guess you guys kind of got to see how many cards I ended up hurling. And you can see that he draws 60 cards, which is like, oh, if that was actually drawing 60 cards and, you know, like not Professor Oaking and things like that, he would have decked himself out. I would have gotten pretty close too. Anyways, that is the end of that game. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be recording some more later today. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but I probably will up the Penumbra uploads to twice a week for those of you that are into that, just because I'm now able to. So we got that, and then battle video will have been uploaded before this, and then I don't really think I have anything else on my plate for today. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.